we'll jump right into questions.
So you're just talking about non-conference schedule. Are you close? How many spots do you have left to fill, you feel like, and are you close to getting those lined up?
I hope we're close. I think we are. We're waiting to see if we will have a conference game December 21st or not. That's kind of the last thing. We're pretty much done with all of them except for just that game. If we are able, excuse me, if we have a game on the 21st, a conference game, then we will have to put a game somewhere else. If we don't, we'd like to put a game there, December 21st. That's really what we're looking for, is one game.
Do you like your non-conference schedule as far as an avenue into the tournament?
I hope so. Obviously, a lot was made of our non-conference schedule last year, and so we've tried to be mindful of that. We try to be mindful of it every year. We thought going into last year, our non-conference schedule was good. We didn't anticipate, Missouri not being as good as they were, and some of the other teams that we played to not have as good of a seasons. But I feel good about what we have on paper right now. But the main thing is that we have to play well. That's the main thing, for us to take care of our business in the non-conference schedule.
Jeff, first, congratulations on your extension.
Thank you.
How did that come about? When did talks about that begin? And was that ever something that was even in question as you're doing all the duties that you have as coach?
I don't think it was ever in question. Heather and I have a great relationship. At the conclusion of the season, she had a conversation with my agent, and I don't get involved in contract stuff. I'm not equipped to do that. That's not my expertise. I don't really know much about it. I coach basketball and try to help the guys we have get better. And so my agent took care of that with her. The deal was done for a while. It just wasn't announced. But incredibly grateful for it, appreciative for it, and look forward to being here.
Jeff, it seemed like all summer, this was you guys got a chance to kind of celebrate both Bub and Blake, not just being at the draft to celebrate Bub, but also you guys going on the trip to watch them in Vegas play. What's that been like? Was that a plan that you set out from a while to kind of help to institute culture? How did that even come about? Because I don't see too many teams doing it.
Which both of them, draft and well, the draft. I was invited to the draft. Bob and his family invited me there and wanted me to be there, and so I was honored to be there and to be a part of that with him. These relationships that we have with these guys are life relationships. It's not a 1 or 2 year or 4 year or however long the guys here. It's something that we want to try to help them. We all as coaches on my staff, we've been in their shoes. We've been Division I players. We all were pretty good at some point, in our careers, and just trying to help these young guys navigate it. And but that's how that came about. Going out to summer league, that one was a little bit different. Once we got the schedule, it's something that I wanted to do. I didn't think I would be able to do it just because of, we were on the road recruiting when the summer league started in Vegas. And I was just looking at it like, we're done Sunday. Really the only days I could go were like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but I don't want to miss practice. We have practice, we have workouts, we have all that stuff going. I had a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and I was tired just from recruiting. But I was sitting in the gym in Peach Jam, and on Friday, and Big Dog texted me, and he said, "Are you coming to Vegas for summer league?" And I was like, "I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. I just can't figure it out. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it." And he said, I'm holding your feet to the fire. You need to be here." And so I'm sitting in the gym, and I'm just looking, and figured it out. Okay, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna go. And we, as a staff, we took a couple of donors with us. It was an unbelievable experience. And one of the things for me, I had never been to Summer League. And so it was just a really cool experience to be out there and first and foremost to see those guys play, to see Bub, Justin, and Blake play. Unfortunately, Mo was hurt. But to spend time with them, man, and for them to be around, these donors and just how unbelievable it ended, Tuesday night we had a dinner that was unbelievable and each guy came in, on their own and it was awesome. It was an awesome experience.
When you're sitting in the stands watching those games, do you still feel like you're their coach, or are you more like a fan or a parent or something?
No, I do feel like a coach. First and foremost, it was cool. I don't know the last time I've been to a game where I could just sit and watch. But I did, want to yell at those guys for, just encouragement, like, hey, Blake, hold your follow through. Stuff like that. Bob, same thing, or this guy's open, or look at this. But it was just really cool to experience that with them.
Coach, between the draft and then the zoo crew, there's been a lot about the culture that you're building here. How proud are you of what you see around you, all those kids coming out to watch the alumni and everything, and just the friendships that are created here now?
To be honest, it's the thing I'm most proud of. When I took this job, it's what I envisioned. Obviously, the first 4 years did not look anything like that. But even though it didn't look like it, I saw signs that we were building towards it. There was no one that wanted it to happen faster than me. And I know the fans did. But there was no one that wanted it faster than me to turn this thing around and to win. And there was maybe no one that expected it faster than me. It just didn't happen like that. For whatever reason, it didn't. I'm grateful that, Heather, the chancellor of the board, gave me time, gave us time. And I'm even more grateful for Nelly, Greg, Blake, the twins, those guys believing and coming here and deciding to come here when it was chaotic. For Jamarius and Nike, those guys deciding to stay when they could have left. JB was a graduate, so he could have left at any point. But I think those guys felt good about what we were doing and the direction that we're in. I'm going to add Federico to that as part of the group that came in. And they're the guys that really started it. I thought Justin played a little, a part in it. It was interesting. Last week, Blake came back and he practiced with us. And just all the, none of the 5-on-5 stuff, but the shooting stuff. And then he got up in the morning and he, got some of the guys, kind of the guys that are in that position, the leaning forward, so to speak. And I asked him, he left Summer League and came straight here. And I asked him, a little bit surprised by that. And he was like, well, Justin did that for us. And so I wanted to make sure I was back with these guys working out with them. I never even thought about that. I didn't know Justin did that. So that was really cool. Bob came back and practiced. And so I think it's a great thing, and it shows the closeness that they have, and probably more important to me, these guys know that they're a part of something bigger than them. And that's what I wanted since that was my experience in college. And I want all the guys that wear this uniform to feel that. When we had the zoo crew back, I spoke to those guys, and one of the things I said to them, this is you guys' program. It didn't matter if you played for Ben, Jamie, me, Kevin, whoever it was, y'all wear the jersey. You should always feel welcome here, and this is your place, and it's great to see these guys come back.
Coach, looking at the Summer League, Bub had a really good performance and got all Summer League honors, and also Justin and Blake did really good as well. What does it mean as a head coach to see your guys do so well in the Summer League?
Yeah, I was really happy for him. I thought Mo played great out in Sacramento. Or it was Golden State. I think they played in Golden State in San Francisco. I think all of those guys, for all of them to have, 20-point games, while they were out there, for Bob, I thought he looked very comfortable right away, and that's something that's really difficult, especially for a guard, to go up there because the game is faster and things like that. So I thought he looked really comfortable. Blake in the first game was terrific, struggled a little bit the next few, but I thought he finished very, very strong. And Justin has played well. He finished the season well with Washington, played really well for him this summer before he got shut down with a small injury. I'm just happy for him, man, to have a chance to live out their dreams and, feel very honored to be a small part of it.
How is Jorge's recovery and the roster pretty much intact right now?
Jorge is, he's going to the doctor today, and hopefully he's fully cleared. He's fully cleared with the foot, with the, he had a sports hernia that he had to have a little surgery on, and that's the last part. Hopefully he's cleared with that. He's doing everything except 5-on-5. Mm-hmm. Workout, he's doing everything. He's been doing everything for a while. It's just the 5-on-5 part. Papa, same thing. He's doing everything except 5-on-5 right now. No contact, but everything else, every drill, all the stuff that we're doing, he's doing that, and our roster is intact unless something comes along, but we're not looking.
It's early, but what do you think? Do you like the tape?
I like what I've seen this summer. Guys have had unbelievable attitudes. They've worked really hard. I think our returning guys have gotten better. They've gotten stronger, more confident. The new guys have fit in right away. They've been unbelievable with their work ethic, their attitudes. I like the camaraderie that I've seen, the spirit of the team. So I'm excited. I'm excited about, getting together. Today was our last workout. We'll do a clinic tomorrow up in Ammons, and then we have a thing with some of the guys on Saturday, the NIL thing, that everyone will get away and get a little bit of a break, and we'll get back on the 25th and start it up.
You talked about Blake's on-court presence in the NBA now. What are you going to miss off the court with Blake moving on?
Everything. The first practice was, for me, it was weird to not hear him. When we were in there starting to stretch, but it's interesting, I think, Blake had to find his voice as a leader here, and he really did an unbelievable job of that last year. And I think what it showed the other guys is you have to be authentically you. And I've seen some guys already stepping up in that area, but doing it their way and finding their voice. And so I'm excited about that. But, Blake's imprint on this program goes well beyond the number of threes that he hit, the distance of the threes, and the number of points that he scored. You can still feel his spirit on this team and in this program.
Have you seen anyone kind of step up and not kind of be Blake? It's not everyone to be themselves, but anyone step up into a more leadership role the same way Blake kind of did last year?
Well, I think Jalen, even though he's still young, but he's experienced. I've seen him finding his voice a little bit more in his way, finding his voice. So I think those two guys, have really stepped up.
Did you see Damian sort of taking the role that Bub had last season?
Well, I think they have some similarities in the standpoint they're both tall guards, and they both are good guards, but their games are a little bit different. Dame's game reminds us probably a little bit more of Jamarius Burton, just because he's really physical. And he's very, very good in the mid-range. Now, Bub was good in the mid-range, too. Bub didn't have the physicality. You couldn't tell him that. He thought he did. But, Dame's going to be good for us. I thought he learned a lot at Houston. Learn how to play even harder, learn how to play defense better. He obviously had a great coach and an unbelievable culture there. But we need him to be Dame. That's all we're asking him to be, the best version that he can be, and he's been unbelievable for us this summer.
Osmal is kind of a unique case, I think, like an older guy who's still a true freshman. How did you find him, and what do you think he's going to be able to do?
Yeah, that was a 10-02 special. Obviously, we have made it a point to really look at overseas, look at foreign guys, and Tim had showed me film on him, liked him, put together some stuff. I watched some games. They told me he was 6'7". I didn't believe it. Last time I was told somebody was during the pandemic when we did recruiting on Zooms, and they were 6'6" and 6'7", and they showed up and they were shorter than me. And so I was a little bit skeptical when he came on the visit. He's a legit 6'7". I love the fact that he's a guard. Like, he can play multiple guard positions. He can really shoot the basketball. He has a very good feel. And he's going to get better. And so I expect him to be a good player. I don't know exactly what that means, but he's a good player. He's gotten better. He's been an unbelievable teammate. He's worked hard. The fact that he is a little bit older and has the experience from playing professionally over there, he's not afraid. He has a toughness, and he has a quiet confidence about him that I love.
Is there going to be an adjustment going from Bosnia to the United States?
Yeah, it's always an adjustment. Anytime you go somewhere new, whether you go from high school to college, or you're going from High Point to the ACC, and you're playing in this type of competition, it's an adjustment, but I think he'll adjust pretty quickly.
How has Cam looked so far in practice?
Yeah, he's been good. Cam is he's a talented young guy. He works really hard. He's a gym rat. That's one thing I didn't know about him. He's a gym rat. You got to get him out of here. You got to make him take breaks. But he's really excited about an opportunity that he has here. He feels like he can do more as a player, and I think he's grown as a player this summer. And so we're excited about the things that we feel like he can bring to our program.
I think the ACC said they're going to just take 15 teams into the conference tournament. What do you think went into that decision? What was your reaction to that?
I'm not sure what went into it. I'm not a fan of it, just because I think every conference team deserves, with going through a 20-game conference season, to have an opportunity at the postseason. And so I wish it was different. It is what it is, and so you got to roll with it.
You also might have you're going to have two extra scholarship spots going into next year. Has that kind of changed how you recruited, or does it change anything at all? Yeah,
we're trying to navigate all of that. There's some changes that are being made, with the house settlement and things like that. It's not going to be, roster spots now, so it's going to be more, like we're basically professional basketball. That's what it is. And so we'll figure out how to navigate it. Certainly, it's hard to have 15 scholarship guys, because you're not going to play 15 guys. And so we'll figure out how to manage it. We have some ideas that we've kicked around as a staff of what we want to do, and we'll see if we can implement that and make it work.
With Cal, Stanford, and SMU joining the league, what are those three programs just going to bring to the ACC?
Yeah, well, they're all, historically good basketball programs. When you look at Stanford's one of the biggest brands in the world. When you think of Stanford, you think of high academics, world-class athletics. There was a time, man, in the 90s when they were really good with Casey Jacobson and Mark Medley. Those guys, those teams are really good, and they have a really, really good coach now, as does Cal. You think of their history with J. Kidd and Lamont Murray and all of those guys, and Mark is a really, really good coach, and then at SMU to get Andy Enfield, and really good school, unbelievable campus, and they have a tradition in basketball where they've been really good at times, and I think the ACC brand will help them. I think their brand all threes of their brands will help the ACC.
You think the ACC will only make you go to the West Coast once a season? Either play Cal?
I think so, yeah. I think if you're out there, I think that's the way it works. Like, you'll play both of them when you're out there.
Only one away.
No, you'll play. If you're playing them, you're going to play Stanford and Cal while you're out there. Yeah.
Oh, one trip then?
One trip.
Yeah.
Limit the amount of back and forth. I got you.
I would hope. I would hope.
For the East Coast teams.
Yes.
That's why it's set up.
That's the way it's set up, right? Like, I know we go to SMU this year, and those two come to us.
How's Cam been integrating with the guys? You know, he's a guy that you guys played against very recently. What's that been like?
It's been great. It's been great. It's been natural. You know, I thought he felt a connection with the guys on his official visit when he went into the portal and we started recruiting him. He already had a connection with Jalen. They played AAU together. And then when he came on the visit, he got to know some of the other guys. A lot of the guys were around. And so he's been terrific. He's been terrific with that. He's a really good dude. That helps. You know, when you're a good guy and you fit in with other good guys.
Seems like Jalen knows everybody.
Jalen's been around the game for a really long time. You know, his dad was when I met his dad when I was the head coach at Oklahoma. His dad was involved with the Houston Hoops program, which is one of the best, which was at the time was one of the best AAU programs. Unbelievable talents come through Houston Hoops. And it was funny, I was talking to Jalen the other day, and we were talking about something, I can't remember what we were talking about, but I said to him, you know, how old were you then? It was something, and he was like, I think I was about 6. And I said, yeah, I think that's when I met you. I just remember seeing him in the gym back then. And then, you know, with John Lucas being his godfather, he was always in the gym with pros. He was always in the gym with his dad, and so he does know a lot of guys. He's connected to a lot of people.
It helped his basketball IQ, obviously.
No question. Absolutely. No question.
Looking at the ACC, how confident are you in the strength of the conference going forward into this season?
Yeah, I'm confident. I think our league is really good. I think our league is really good. I mean, once again, you look last year what we did in the NCAA tournament. You know, as a league, to have, I think, I don't know where NC State finished or Clemson, but both of them were below 4. You know, to get to the Elite 8 and to the Final 4. I think it shows the depth of our league, the overall strength of our league, and I think it'll be that way again this year.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
I was waiting until everybody's done with Pitt. Are you watching? What do you
Of
think?
course. Love it. I love the Olympics. I love it. Before I came up, we were just watching the women's gymnastics in the locker room down there. Yeah, and so I love it. I love the spirit of it, man. Just how proud these athletes are of representing their country. And I know in basketball, in men's basketball, I can't speak for the women's basketball, but the men's basketball, I've had a chance to do it. It was with the 2016 Olympic team. We can't generate the same type of pride that the other countries have. We can't. We try, and we're prideful. And I know the guys that are playing right now, like, it means so much to them. But the spirit of the Olympics, I love. And when you see these athletes win, and the celebrations, I mean, I love it all. All of it. I'm so excited. I think my favorite is track and field, which is getting ready to start. So it's been really, really cool to watch.
How about coaching a bunch of guys who are the studs on their team? Like your boy Jason didn't have a minute the other day, so.
It's hard. I don't think I think the thing in our country that is a mistake, and so many people do, is that they just think it's easy. And they think that we're American, we have the best players, we're going to win. And it's just, it's not our game. FIBA is completely different. And you have guys that can struggle, that are great players, that can struggle with FIBA. First of all, I think our team probably had about, I'd probably say 8 to 10 practices. That's it. You know, so it's hard to develop chemistry where these guys have grown up playing together. Like they've been together for a while. And in the summers they're together. And so they have that. But it's different. The game is more physical. And when you're putting together that roster, 2014 World Cup, 2016 Olympics, again, I think the biggest mistake people can think is you just get the best players. No, they have to fit. The pieces have to fit. And I think Steve is doing an unbelievable job because, number one, to have the courage, but also the communication, you know, with the guys, telling them in advance. And the thing you have to have is that everyone has to be connected, and the prize has to be the gold medal. That's it. And so, you know, when you look at the first game with Serbia, you know, I think their game plan was to try to wear Jokic out. So you needed 3 centers just to keep someone fresh on them. And you look at the stats, I think the game was even when Jokic was in. The minutes that he was out, I think we were plus 22, 26 or something like that. And so it worked. The next game against South Sudan, they don't really have big guys. And I think South Sudan hit 18 threes against us in the exhibition. So the game plan was to switch every ball screen. So you're not in rotation and you're not just getting beat and they're just playing it out. And so you know, as a coach and as a coaching staff, they're doing an unbelievable job. One of my best friends put the team together, Grant Hill, and I'm talking to him every day. And so I'm excited to watch them, and I think you'll see them continue to get better and better. And then the other day we had the cheat code come back. When Durant's there, he's the cheat code for USA basketball.
Is that stuff that you can give pointers on when you see a team contrast in its objectives so differently from game to game? Is that something that you can point to your players and say, hey, this is the kind of stuff we do?
We talked about that today before we went to our last practice. It's just that. I mean, you look at that team, I think it's a seamless transition for Drew Holiday and Derek White because they're basically playing their role on this team that they play with the Celtics. You have, now this is my opinion, so you have Durant, you have LeBron, you have Curry. Those 3 guys are just different. Like, they wake up in the morning, I'm different than everybody. It doesn't matter who's in the room. You have a few of those all the time. And then the rest of the guys are great. But how do I find my footing? Like, where do I fit? I can't be how I was with the Celtics or how I was with whoever, Phoenix. Like, where do I fit? And so it was cool. Like, I remember in 2014, we had a stacked team, and one of the big things that people say is like James Harden doesn't play defense. And I remember talking to him one day, and he was like, people forget when I came in this league, that's what I did. I defended. But with the Rockets, I got to score 30 plus and get 12 plus assists. I can't defend like that. I don't have the energy. And so you see that, like you see Booker can really defend, and you get to see that now, him being able to do that. And so it's a challenge from the ego standpoint for some of those guys, and I get it. But I do think it looks like from afar they've had unbelievable attitudes, and they're all about the right thing, trying to win. And then same thing applies for us. I think we have multiple weapons. We can do some different things. We can, at least right now, the versatility I think we can have as a team. And, guys have to understand that. And the big goal has to be winning, not individual stuff. It has to be all about winning.
The Diaz-Graham twins and I guess Amsel, too, they're international guys. Has it been interesting watching with them who don't come from the American perspective?
It was probably more interesting watching the European soccer stuff with them, the soccer championships, and especially the twins because Spain won and they have the young phenom, and at the same time, I think, Wimbledon was, so we got in the locker room after practice, and I remember one day we had practice at 12, and the night before, G calls me, And he was like, Coach, we're at practice 12, right? I said, yeah, why? And he was like, do you think we can move it up early because Spain plays at 12 or 11? Like, I want to see the second half. So we moved it up early. Then you go in, and Wimbledon was on Alcaraz, so they're all on that. So it's really cool to watch them, like those two guys and Papa, because they're really into soccer. They've gotten the guy. You go in there, all the guys are watching soccer with that. So it is cool. You know, Spain's not doing as great in the Olympics right now, so they don't have much to say. But the guys are letting them know that. But it is cool to watch that.
Do you like the 3-on-3 basketball?
You know, I haven't watched it that much, to be honest with you. We were just talking about it downstairs because I know we haven't won. I haven't seen it, so I don't understand it. I can't speak on it because I haven't seen it. I watched ping pong this morning with table tennis. That's incredible. Incredible.
These guys are good.
Yeah.
How about the women's game?
Yeah.
Boys watching the women's, like, the resurgence of women's basketball right now.
It's unbelievable. It really is. I mean, I'm a basketball junkie, so I watch it all. I just like good basketball. But watching, I thought the WNBA All-Star game was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And watching them in the Olympics, and again, the same thing, seeing all these unbelievable women, but they got to fit into different roles. I read an article this morning with Drew Lloyd talked about that. Like, you got to be different than where you are and things like that. But you still have some outliers, like Asia Wilson. Like, she wakes up, I'm the best player. Breonna Stewart, I'm the best player. It doesn't matter. And so, yeah, I've enjoyed watching them, and I think our guys have too.
I know we're delving into more national things.
I love it.
I feel like this is a very unique time in basketball history where in the Olympics you have a 42-year-old in Taurasi on the women's team and a 39-year-old in LeBron on the men's team, and both of them are still very much competitive. LeBron's doing chase down blocks and Taurasi's hitting her shots. What is that like for you as just a basketball enjoyer to see that those people with such long careers still competing?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man, when you look at how they've taken care of themselves and how they're able to still be elite. It's unheard of. You know, you look at LeBron. I mean, I text Grant during the game against South Sudan, I think. No, it was the first game. And I just said to him, this dude's incredible. Like, he's unbelievable. And it was interesting because he said to me, this was before the Olympics started, this is when they started practice. He said, like, he showed up in the best shape of anybody on the team. He talked about how hard he practices. And I read a quote where Steve Kerr talked about that, where he asked Spoelstra and Tyronn Lue, who both coached him in Cleveland and Miami, is this normal? And you know, this is how he is every day. So you have that. And then Taurasi, you know, at 42, unbelievably competitive, smart. She's a killer. Like, she is. Like, she is like of the Kobe, the Jordan, of that ilk. I remember being around her in 2016 in the Olympics, because we were on the boat in Rio, and just watching her, you know, in the trash talk, and you can back it up, and but just how competitive she was. And I think it also shows just how much they love the game. And they understand that they may not be what they once were, but they can still have unbelievable impact, and probably more than anything want to give back to the game, to teach the younger people that are on these teams, you know, how to be great. All right.
Thanks, Jeff.